Welcome to the world of Jira, a powerful project management and issue tracking tool by Atlassian. Whether you're a seasoned professional or a newcomer to project management, this tutorial is your gateway to mastering Jira's versatile features. In the next few minutes, we will take you on a journey through its intuitive interface, customizable workflows, and robust reporting capabilities. You will learn how to streamline your team's work, increase productivity, and effortlessly manage tasks, projects, and issues. Get ready to unlock the full potential of Jira and elevate your project management skills to new heights. Let's dive in. That's it. If these are the type of videos you'd like to watch, then hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified. Now, without further delay, let's get started with the agenda for today's session. Firstly, we will get started by understanding what exactly is Jira. Followed by that, we will understand the detailed terminologies of Jira. Later, we will have a head-on-head comparison with Jira Server against Cloud. Followed by that, we will understand what exactly is Sprint and its terminologies. Next ahead, we will learn how to install Jira into your local system, which is Windows operating system. Followed by that, we will create a new sample project to understand how exactly Jira operates and functions. And next, the most important point of today's session, which is about Jira's administration. So I hope I made myself clear with the agenda. Now, over to our training experts.
Jira is a proprietary issue tracking production developed by Atlassian that allows bug tracking and agile project management. So if you see that what Jira is, or Jira Atlassian is, so you can define that it's a tracking tool which is being developed by Atlassian that allows bugs tracking and agile project management handling. Jira helps term plan, sign, track, report, manage work, and bring team together for everything from agile software and development and customer support to startup and enterprises. The production names come from the second syllabus of Japan, who announced as the Chlorella. The name originated from the nickname Atlassian developed in order to have that Buzzzilla, which were previously known as bug tracking tool. So this was the background that how Atlassian comes, what Jira is. So Atlassian is a company which provide you which has developed this project management tool, which is Jira. So Atlassian is a very good company, and after having development of this particular tool, which is Jira, they made sure that everything is on track and things should be fine. So it's a very important project management tracking tool, and it has worked in a larger sense also. So larger sense in the sense that it has been there for a lot of time, and right now this particular tool Jira has made the project management really simple, because you can do everything out here. I mentioned that it is used to help term plan, assign, track, report, and manage work, right? So you can do all these activities if you are using a Jira Atlassian. Terminologies of Jira. So Jira is really very important project management tool, as we have already gathered and we have studied out here. In Jira, an issue is something that your organization needs to track, correct? So that's something which obviously your organization needs to track. Do not go into hang up mode of a common meaning of the word issue. For the purpose of Jira, it could have been called as the item or the object as well. So that's also something which is there, the object or the issues or anything it can be called, apart from what you are going to do currently, correct? So that is something which is really very important if you are doing the project management tool or project management in Jira as well. So that's something which is there, right? Now, don't get hung on a common meaning of the word issues. The purpose of Jira, it could have been called as the item or object also, but the folks at Atlassian started with the issue and it got stuck. In Jira, you can create as many issues type as you want, including terms specific to the business. You can record a near endless amount of information about any issue, track in progress, and over time collaborate with one another. So that's the functionality which they are saying about the Jira. So what functionality we have? is that you can have the information about an issue, you can track the progress of issue over time, you can collaborate with one another, you can also have as many as issue you want within the project. So that's something which is really very important. Now, the what you can do is that you can break the issue down into similar unit called subtasks. So subtasks are also there. So I taught you that there are epic, we have user stories followed by the task, and then you have the subtask. So that's there, right? Every issue has its own screen. The issue is tracked over time through workflow. So that we'll see that how issues are tracked over the workflow. So the first terminology which is we will discuss is the issue. So in Jira project is a collection of issues, right? So issues are there. So obviously whatever problem statements are there, we keep it into a product backlog, right? You can think of a Jira project using the normal meaning of the word. Every project requires a name of a person to be a product lead. So obviously there has to be a product owner or the product master, or you can say the product manager who owns that particular product or a project, right? When you create a project in Jira, you will generate a unique key, usually acronym of the project name. So obviously you will give it a project name. Maybe the project name is that developing a fancy car for XYZ organization. So that's the project name that will appear in every issue. So obviously the issue will have some name and subtasks associated with that particular project. We will also set a workflow that applies to each issue type in the project. You can set up a scheme for each project that will determine what screen with the project does looks like as well. Coming back to the next terminology, which is what is a screen. So in Jira, a screen is what appears on your device when you are looking at an issue. So that's the thing which is there. That is the screen which is you have created. It is made up of several fields that record things like issue type, and its current status is the workflow and the person assigned to the issue. Comment on the issue as much as you can. There are standard default screen scheme, and you need to create your own as many as possible in your own field. The screen scheme can be varied for different issues type and associated with the different projects as well. Now, the workflow. In Jira, workflow is a progressive status of a issue and the things that to be done in transition from one state to another. So, workflow is basically how the flow of work is, whether it's a to-do task, whether it's in progress or it's done. So, these are the three to-do tasks which is there. So, if you have seen Kanban board also, in the Kanban board, it was written, right? So, to do in progress and task done. So, that needs to be there. You can make the workflow as detailed as you would like to, depending upon the logical status of the project and organizational structure as well. So we have seen that we have only three flow, that is to do, in progress and done. But if I go to one of our Kanban slide, or if you remember the Kanban slide, the to do was mostly divided into two parts. First is obviously the that how exactly it looks like, the product backlog, and then the product backlog were picked up at the task which needs to be done, and then in progress was there. So in progress had a lot of statuses like it is in progress, then it was into a development phase, then did the testing, and post testing it was done into a done phase. So it says that workflow can be designed and determined according to our need. So you can make the workflow as detailed as you want, depending upon the logical stages in your project and your organization process. So it totally depends upon us that how we move the Jira board or the Kanban board according to our need and add more tables to it in order to make it look more visualized to the audience. A different workflow can apply to any issues type within the each project, and the movement through the workflow is one of the main features of an issue screen. Coming back to what is a user story. So in Agile, a user story is a brief statement of something that needs to be done. So I have told user stories not only a single time but a multiple time, right? So user stories is something which we have covered multiple times, not only a single time. So user stories is a brief statement of something that needs to be done. So how user stories are created? So product backlog is created based on the user story. So all the product backlog is having the user story. How product backlog is created? It's the product owner who creates the product backlog in discussion with the stakeholder. So he discusses that with the stakeholder and then creates the product backlog. So if you talk about story or user story, is a brief statements of something that needs to be done. It is expressed in plain language and often in the format as who, what, and why. So three questions are generally asked whenever there is a user story is created or there is any business requirement document: that who wants it, what is required, and why it is required. So business purpose obviously says why. So if suppose there is a process which is already defined, right, and some stakeholder says that no, you need to make changes in that particular process, the question which will come from the product owner: that why do I need to make the changes? So these three questions makes the life very easy. If you ask that who has requested for it, what is exactly they want, and why do they want. So these three questions are really important. For example, I can give you, as a writer, I want to post text to the people who can read it. A story can be broken into sub stories or subtasks, and related stories can be grouped into a epic. So I told you the epic is the larger group of user stories, and these user stories are broken into smaller pieces. So it can happen vice versa also, that if there are multiple user stories, they can be linked together to create an epic. Okay, and then team can work on that epic, breaking down into small user stories and then subtasks, and finally deliver an end product. So that should also be the ideal scenario, and that can be done out here depending upon the mood or the development team efforts that they are putting in. Okay, in Jira Agile, a story is issue type and is always associated with the project. So obviously any user stories is always associated with the project. An epic, however, group of stories across multiple projects. Story can also belong to a version. So here it means that if we have a larger user stories and each user stories are related to one another, so that user stories can be picked up and that can be linked to a epic. So epic, it can be linked, and team can pick up those epic and start working on it. So that's something that is really really important, and that happen on a regular interval as well out here. So we studied the epic, the workflow, the user story, the screen, and the issue. These are the few of the terminologies. What is a Jira server and Jira cloud, right? So we'll have a detailed walk around about the Jira server and Jira cloud, and we'll see that how we can install both of them. And it's a two-way communication. So we'll have the detailed PPT version of it, and then we'll have a live installation and a live training as well. So that will be always there. So first of all, let's have the concepts of theory, and then we'll move to the practical of Jira cloud, Jira software, or how to install Jira. What are the different terminologies which are there in Jira? So that's how we are going to proceed out here. Okay, so Jira cloud is built for every one of your software team plan, track and manage the work, where a Jira software or Jira server is a part of family of product designed to help all types of manage work. So you can see we have a server and we have a cloud. So nothing much difference about it. It's just that if server is based upon any of the server, maybe of a company server, okay, but if you talk about cloud, it's something which is readily available for everyone. So that's the basic difference. The server is based out that it's a company oriented and nothing much, but software into a cloud is basically something which is there at a free level out there. Okay, so that's the main difference, nothing much out here. Jira server versus Jira cloud. So the dashboard pages are very similar. In server, there is a left slide bar which lists the other dashboard without the left navigation, and therefore horizontal room is a cloud which shows the data. In cloud, on the top right, there are yellow star icon next to the add widget button, indicating that it's a favorite dashboard. So I'll just give you a brief here. So you can see that in Jira server, you have a dashboard, you have a project, you have issues, you have boards, your portfolios, and everything, and you can create here. And then at the top, and then you have at the left corner, you have a lot of things like you have Kanban board, you have the production, you have the estimation and everything in the server type. But where you see the cloud, it's more of a like you have a search button, then you have the point to release. So we'll see that how the cloud version and the server version looks like, but we'll do a comparison. And once you just go through this comparison in detail, so that when we are using the tool Jira server and Jira project on live basis, so you can have that in place as well, right? So that we are going to be considering about. Now, Jira server versus Jira cloud in terms of navigation. So if you see about navigation, the application navigation icon, we have switched to different application and explored new Jira Atlassian software. Considering about logo, this is a home page on the link. So if you see there, we have it on the home page and we need to click on it to mostly view the dashboard. So that's the logo. If I talk about here, so see it's here like Jira, right? And in the cloud, if you see, you need to have these buttons enabled. Navigation link, if you talk about in Jira server, the links of dashboard, project issues, both all are the add-ons, and there is additional link to each. In the screenshot example, there is additional link to portfolios and the watchtower. In Jira Cloud, your work, project, filter, dashboards, and the people. If you have the app, you can choose from one drop menu of them and the screen example and the final link level on the app. So it was talking about this one. So as I mentioned that we have left and the top portion in the Jira server where you can search whatever you want here, or you can have it from here like create, close, start, and all these things. Now create button, this button issues a new located on the top middle of every Jira page. In cloud, small screen button of plus sign. See the example below. So here if you see, we have a create button out here, right? So you need to just click on this button, which is create. You can see that in Jira server you have a create, you just click on it and then you get an option. So we'll see that how it works. Whereas if you see the Jira cloud, you have a plus button out here, right? So here is a plus button which is there. You just need to click on this button and everything will be as per the track or as per the influences which are there. So now we have the again the comparison between the Jira and the cloud. In Jira, the project pages include the left side slider to the segment of the project list, whereas the table shows in the icon of different project type, a table, column, or a project associated URL is displayed. Okay. Whereas in cloud, the segment of project list using the text and the drop down menus are at the top. In the table, there are columns for the favorite projects, projects type, and shown. And in order to have the lead icon is also displayed. In the associated URL shows that the link is there and the menus for the project action. So going forward, you can see in the Jira server, you have the logo out here in the Jira, and you have the options to like projects, issues, boards. So you can click on any of them and you can see and search for the different project. Whereas here you have a search bar, you need to remember the name, what issues are, and what the project name was. You can search and you can get the things out here. So relatively, the server is more easy to use than the cloud. If we talk about transitions page, so status and transition displayed between the two deploys type in server in transition button are in the issues top menu button. So that's are there on the top menu button, which are there at the home page of the start of the Jira server. The view workflow link is shown to the right of the status to the screenshot, and the transition option for to do status is to do, in progress, and done. So we have these options. As we see the Kanban board, we can open the Kanban board, which is there on the left hand side of the Jira, and then we can have these to do status, to do's in progress, and then completed or done. So that can be assigned from here only. Now, coming back to the cloud one, the status and the transition button are shown in the right sidebar. In the screenshot and transition option for the reopened status, start progress, close issues, and resolve issues are there. The destination status in the text next to the transition name and the workflow of the option is shown as well. What is sprint, how sprint looks like, and all these things are there, right? So we'll see what sprint is. So understanding the sprint, understanding sprint backlog, product backlog, comparing sprint backlog, product backlog. So we are going to do those things here today. So first of all, if you see what is a sprint, so you see there is a product backlog which is here. So this is the product backlog. Who creates the product backlog is obviously the product owner, who is the owner of the product. He creates the product, correct? When he creates the product, he creates a task. So maybe S feature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are the few features. 9 features are there, right? Now, what development team does is they pick up these feature one. So that is the one they pick up. They put it into the sprint. The sprint is obviously 1 to 4 week. So this whole cycle runs, right? And in the cycle, you see daily scrum is there because daily scrum happens on daily basis. So whatever the sprint we are running, so suppose we have a 1 week of sprint, so daily scrum will happen 5 days. It's a 5 days working organization. So all 5 days, the daily scrum will happen where the status updates will be given to the product owner, the scrum master will be there, and development team will ensure that whatever they have done yesterday, the progress is shared. Whatever they are going to do today, they will also discuss the same thing. So that is always there. Okay. Now the sprint cycle completes and there is a feature which is completed, right? So similarly, the cycle once is there. So one by one it is picked, and you can see there were 9 product backlog, and here 9 features which has been completed, right? So that is already there. So 9 feature picked up, 9 feature completed. Maybe in order to complete this 9 feature, it took 9 sprints, one week of each, or maybe it could have taken 3 week of 3 sprints, right? And anything can happen because that totally depends upon how development teams see what is their availability, right? So maybe let's suppose it took 3 sprint to complete these 9 tasks. That means in each sprint they have taken 3 tasks and they have completed it. So this is what you call is as a sprint. So sprint is defined as a phase where the development team pick up the products or the feature from the product backlog and start working on it in order to create a shippable product, and that product is known as the completed product. Okay, so that is what sprint is. Sprint varies from 1 to 4 week. The minimum week of sprint is 1, whereas maximum it can go to a 4 week of sprint. So that's what you call as a sprint. The owner of the sprint is obviously the development team who do the entire development, coding, and everything within that particular sprint. They share the status update to the product owner and the scrum master so that things are readily clear to both of them. Okay, so this is what they generally do at any point of time. Fine. Now, coming back to understanding what is sprint backlog. So we have seen 2 terms. One is the sprint backlog and second is the product backlog. So you can see here also we have a product backlog, we have a sprint backlog. So we understood what is the product backlog. We understood what is sprint backlog, but we are going to cover this in detail because this training is completely on advanced level. So obviously each slide will be there on specific topics as well. So you see sprint backlog. So sprint backlog, you see there is a forecast first of all, right? So forecast is like fix my profile, filter service tickets, quick type. So all these things are the forecast. Forecasts are these are the product backlog. Now what happens out of this? We have 3 board. So this is a type of you can say agile or Kanban board where we have forecast, that is the product backlog. We have to-dos, in progress, and done. So suppose team says that they have started to work on these features. So these are the to-do list, dollar, whatever this sets, and these are definitions, right? Out of this, so out of 6 feature they have taken in to-dos, how many are in progress? Which is 1, 2, and 3. So this one, and one more, okay, are in progress. And how many of them had been completed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many features was there taken? That was 6. So out of 6 feature, 5 of them was completed. Okay. How many pending? 1. So one feature which was pending during the sprint will be considered as a sprint backlog. That means if suppose I took 6 feature, I promised that 6 feature will be completed, and out of those 6 feature, I was able to complete only and only 5 feature, and one feature left pending. So that pending will be considered as a sprint backlog because that was incompleted within a sprint. That's why it's a sprint backlog. Now what will happen? That one feature will be called as a sprint backlog, and the development team, once the sprints end, they will do a review and they will send this sprint backlog, that particular feature, again to product backlog. Now it's not that product backlog, if it is sent back, it would be on higher priority. Again, the product manager or the product owner will do estimation, will do the refinement, and if suppose that feature needs to be taken on top, then it will be taken. Otherwise it may be that its priority can also change. Okay, depending upon what new product backlogs has been added or new features have been added to the product backlog. So this is how it works, that in sprint, whatever task is not completed is known as the sprint backlog, and these sprint backlogs are sent back to the product backlog. Okay, understood? So this was all about sprint and sprint backlog. You see, product backlogs are there, right? So we have a huge hump of product backlog. You can see a lot of tasks are there, right? So these are the product backlog, and you can see then that we have an epic. So product backlogs, we have epic, then you have user stories, and then user stories are picked up by the development team. So like fixing bug case, features, technical depth, knowledge acquisition, and then small tasks. So it's not that product backlog will have only to develop new feature. There may be some existing product is there. Suppose there is a satellite communication which is going to happen, which has already been developed, and the user or the stakeholder reports that there is some wrong data which is coming into satellite, correct? So that will be considered as a bug fix. So that will not be a new enhancement, right? So that thing is already there, but there is some problem into specific task, and that would be a bug fixing. Okay, cool. Features. So obviously features would be new features which needs to be developed. Technical depth, if suppose any thing which is related to the tech side is not being completed, so that will be. And knowledge acquisition is acquiring the knowledge. So these things, bug fixes, features, new enhancement, are again divided into small tasks and being completed. So this is a general background of how product backlog looks like. So product backlog is nothing but a list of feature which needs to be developed during the sprint. If it is not developed during the sprint, it is known as the sprint backlog, and it is sent back to the product backlog again. Again, the same cycle starts. There is a refinement, there is a priority which is decided by the product owner, and then based on the priority, it is picked up by the development team during the planning, and then move to the next part. So this is how it works. Now, coming back to the difference between the sprint backlog and the product backlog. So this is what we are going to study, and then we'll move to our next section, which will be more towards the second methodology, which is the Kanban and the Lean. So we'll start with product backlog versus sprint backlog, right? So product backlog, the key difference between two things. So obviously this is something which is going to come in your certification. This is something which any of the interview you may encounter as well, that because these are very similar terms. Like backlog is something which is there, but you need to identify what is a product backlog and what is a sprint backlog. From the training, from the definition, from the slides which I have covered, it's pretty clear, right? But you need to understand the basic difference also, so that you can answer when these things comes into place as a whole. Okay, fine. So product backlog, so it's anything that needed to accomplish the product vision is the known as the product backlog. Anything that is needed to fulfill the sprint goal is known as the sprint backlog. So what is happening that anything which is needed to accomplish the project vision in the sense that when we are developing any new product, so obviously there is a vision that we are creating some project or some product, right? So Product backlog are list of features which is required in order to be added to the product backlog so that the product vision or the project vision is clear. Correct? So that is there. But anything which is needed to fulfill the sprint goal is known as the sprint backlog. So they have taken the product from the product backlog, started to develop, but unfortunately, due to XYZ reason, we could not complete that particular thing, right? So that becomes the sprint backlog. Okay. Now, coming back to the product owner owns the product backlog, whereas development team owns the sprint backlog. So a basic difference. If someone asks that, could you please let me know that what is the basic difference between the product backlog and the sprint backlog? So the basic difference would be the owners. The product backlog is obviously owned by the product owner or the product manager, whereas the sprint backlog is wholly owned by uh, the development team. Fine. Uh, Now the product backlog contains requirement, defects, tasks, etc. And the sprint backlog contains the subset of product backlog item that are defined as a priority by the product owner. Okay, so that is there. Now, everyone contributes to the product backlog. So whatever, whether it's a development team, where it is a scrum master, where it is a product owner, everyone will contribute to this part, which is mm, uh, the product backlog. Whereas subset of product backlog item are defined by the priority of the product owner. So sprint backlog is obviously the subsets are defined by the product owner, whereas the actual owner of the sprint backlog is a development team who do the development. So they are the one who do the development within the sprint cycle. They ensure that the things are completed on time, and whatever they have promised within the sprint, that should be fulfilled. So that's the main agenda which they mostly have in themselves. Now, coming back to the fourth one, which is everyone contributes to the product backlog, and only development team contributes to the sprint backlog. So yes, everyone, whether product manager, the scrum master, development team, they share their feedback, suggestions. Obviously, the requirement gathering is done by the product owner, but everyone owns the product cycle. Okay, so that is a list of features. Even scrum master supports that, okay, this needs to be there. So there's a huge discussion which happens during the planning. So backlog is something which contributes to everyone, whereas only development team has the authority to develop things during the sprint backlog. So he's the owner, and they do whatever they want within the uh, sprint, because they are someone who needs to have a lot of ability to develop those things within the sprint. Okay. Now, coming to the product backlog refinement meeting is to refine the product backlog, whereas sprint planning meeting is to refine the sprint backlog item. So, yeah, so product backlog refinement meeting. So, obviously, product backlog refinement means that when you see the product backlog, it has a lot of features, right? There are maybe 100 features are there. So, one X product needs to be developed. The product manager has connected with the stakeholder. He has gathered a lot of things. Maybe he has gathered 2000 requirements, and he think that out of those 2000, after doing a good refinement, there are 100 needs to be there. So he put those 100 into the product backlog. Now, when the team, the scrum team, the will meet, they will again do the prioritization and refinement and bring out that only 75 is something which we can deliver. 75 features. Okay, so 75 features they can develop. Now the product owner will define the order. So they will decide that out of those 75 feature, which feature would be on top and which would be on bottom, and how much sprint it is required to complete. So this is what happens in the product backlog refinement. Sprint planning meeting is to define the sprint backlog items. So obviously in sprint planning meeting, we decide that which all features or the user stories we are going to consider in consideration, and how much sprint each will take place in order to deliver. So that is there in the sprint planning meeting. And once the sprint start, obviously it's the role of the product owner who owns the product and make sure that that is needs to be delivered, and whatever needs to be delivered, that will be done within the span of time. So this was the basic difference between the product backlog and the sprint backlog. When we do the hands-on experience, so what is it is going to be? So what we can do that in Jira, first of all, we'll download the Jira via different operating system. So if you need a Jira core, so you can go Atlassian, Jira software, Jira service management tool. So what you can do, you can go to any of the link and you can just click on the download button and you can download the software out from here. So when we will do our hands-on experience training, probably we'll have these things in our scenarios also, and we can develop these things readily at our regular interval as well. So Jira software, obviously we can download. Run the installer. So run the installer means that we recommend using a Windows administration account. Follow the Jira download and you will ask to the following information. So destination directory, home directory, TCP ports, and install as a services. So these four things are required if you are doing anything related to Jira or Jira administration at your end. So that is something which is really very important as well. So what you'll do, you'll go to the website, which is www.atlassian.com/software/Jira. So I would prefer that we will download this only. So what you can do, you can click on any of the link and you can download the software according to your need. If you need a Jira core, so you can download a Jira core. If you need a Jira software, you can download a Jira software. If you need a service management, Jira service management, you can download the service desk app as well. So these are a few of the links. But when we do our communication for Jira, that is something else we are going to do. So if you don't want all these things or you don't want to cover it right now, so this is just for your knowledge, but I will cover a step by step downloading step and then installing and setting up the Jira in a system as well, so you can do with me also when I would be covering that topic here. So once you download it, it says that run the installer. So obviously you need to have the permission administration access in order to run that software as well. So we recommend using a window administrator account. Follow the prompt to install Jira. You will ask the following information. So obviously I don't need to teach you because you all are computer science graduates or you have been using computer as well. So whenever there is external software, you need to install it via admin access. And if it's your office laptop, probably it will not work. So I will recommend have your personal software have in your personal laptop so that you can install it and create an account on it. Okay, so that's something will be there. So when you install it, what you will get, that you will get a destination directory. So it will ask that what is the destination where you need to have the file saved. So this is where Jira will be installed, right? So destination directory is something where you need to have the access as well so that the Jira software can be installed at your location. So here what will happen that in suppose if you give the access to the C drive, so the Jira software will be installed at the C drive. So C drive may be X location C drive, so it will be installed. Secondly, it will ask you the home directory. So this is where Jira data, logs, search index, and files will be stored. So home directory you need to give, like suppose C drive, Jira software, or anything you need to give in order to have the access out here. So whatever you want, you can provide the details in depth out here. So you can do that as well if you are talking about a lot of things. Now the next one is the TCP ports. So these are the HTTP ports connectors and control Jira to run on it, and it will stick to the default unless you are running another application on the same port. So this is something which is there in the Jira tools, and you need to have those controls out here, and Jira will run on it. So transmission control protocols ports, these are the TCP are transmission control protocols. So these are the set of you can say a site a protocols or maybe an IP address to which that will connect. So there are the hypertext languages or the connector. So HTTP connectors ports are there which controls the Jira on which it will run. Stick with the default unless you are running another application on the same port. So default is already there. So a network guy can help you understand that what are the default. So you don't need to make any certain changes. You can stick to the default page which is there and you can install it in your system. But the main 2 points which needs to be there on the part would be that the TCP IP has to be there. The transmission control protocol port should be there, and that is something which is which is important. Apart from that, nothing is much of the value, and it's not important to the thing which is there. Okay, so that's the first thing which needs to be aligned with the context of working as a software. The third one is that install as service. So the option is only available if you are rather if you run to install an administrator. So if you want to be an administrator and you want to install at administrator end, so maybe I told you that if you are using a personal system, so obviously the rules should be that you download it and you follow these three steps and it will be done. But if you are administrator, probably you can use this as a installation and you can install it at your way, whatever it is required to do. We see here that this is the interface of the Jira. So user interface looks like this. If you see, the logo of Jira is on the left hand side, and just beside that we have an option for dashboard, right? You have a project button here and you have a issue button here, correct? So the same things are also aligned on the cloud side. This is a Jira cloud, and similarly you have a Jira server also. So I told you the differentiation between the Jira cloud and the Jira server, and when we install this particular software, we will cover that in detail as well. So here we have Jira cloud, you have issues, you have reports, and you have components. So uh, right now this is not an actual one, so obviously when I'll click I'll not get anything, but when we'll go, probably we'll see that how exactly Jira cloud, Jira issues, Jira reports, and Jira components look like. But once you click on the create button, a project like this is created. So when the project is created, first of all, what you see at the top is that the name of the project which you have created. So here I have created a demo project, that is ability to set Jira Agile board as homepage in Jira in new user interface. So that's the topic, or you can say a user story, which I have created out here. Now you can see there are a lot of details in this, which is the type, the suggestion, the status, right? So obviously we have the components, which is navigation, primary, contextual. We have something or something like that in and around all these things, correct? So that is going to be there, and obviously that needs to be linked with each of the issues which are there. This is the workflow. That means what is the status, whether it's into to do, whether it is in progress, whether it is completed or done. So that's the workflow. You can have a view. The resolution is that what is the status of the ticket. So it's still unresolved. If it is resolved, then it will be marked as the closed one. Levels, we do not have any. And we have the support references and the UIS, which is 74 and 51 respectively. Now we have the on the right hand side, if you see, we have something called export button, correct? So export button, I told you, is when you click on this button export, you will get an option to get this file into formats which you want. So it can be a format, a PDF one, a CSV file, a Word file. You get options also. So that's the option which you'll get. I'll show you the actual file post downloading, how it looks like when we will move on to the actual Jira uh, and hands-on experience training later in this session. So you can see here we have the option that assignee. So right now it is unassigned. So in assignee, when you create the Jira tickets, you get an option to whom you want to assign this ticket. So it can be a developer, it can be a scrum master, or anyone. So you need to type the name and it will automatically be picked and it will be assigned to that particular person. Now here the reporter is named as Catalina, right? So Catalina is one of the reporter, or you can say someone from the stakeholder team, or maybe a product owner or a scrum master who has created this ticket and reported this issue. The votes for this issue, that means that how many people agreed to it, and watchers like who have watched these issues or worked on these issues or have seen these issues. So those numbers are there. You can see there are created date, so date at which this particular issue was created. So this is a older user story which was created in 2018 and which is still running, and you can see last updated was 13th June 2022. So here you get the creation date, the when the ticket or the Jira file was created, and here you get the updated. That means whosoever will update, the last status updated will be shown here. So that's what you have in the interface of the Jira Cloud. This is how it looks like. If you go on top, you have a search button. So on search button, what you can do is you can generally search for the user stories which are there. So you can type any of the user stories and you can get to the depth of that particular user stories whenever it is required. So that will be there, and that will also be required in case if you want anything to be present in the above scenarios. Okay, so that will be there and then itself. Now, coming back to the last section, which you have here is the announcement. If you need to make it announced to the larger group, so you can click on this button and it will be done. And then you have a log in button where you can log into the page and also move to your profile and everything. So that's how the interface looks like. The horizontal part, the vertical part, the interface having the details of the ticket, the details of the person who is working on the ticket, and the date and the time it is created and modified. So this is how it looks like. Going forward, we are going to set up the terminologies of the Jira. We'll see how everything looks like, and for that I'll just see and go to the next slide. So here I have created a link, so it would be difficult that I will align these information into the form of a presentation. So instead of that, I have created a web link, and we will go to that particular web link, and that web link will be accessible to everyone, even at a later stage. And that is a web link where all the information are updated on daily basis. So that's an Atlassian website where I will go and I'll teach you the step by step that how Jira interface, editing, and everything looks like. So let me just click on this link and let's see where it takes us. Let me just go to this page and let me just click on this one. Fine. So here we are on the Jira Work Management Support page where we will get all the details of Jira, and we are going to cover the theoretical part from here only. So if I just go down, let me show you what we are going to cover in our trainings. Okay, and this is going to be a detailed one. Once we complete the theoretical part, then we'll go to the Jira administration, and then we'll cover both the Jira and the Jira administration on one go. Okay, so we are going to do that way. So first of all, we see that we'll cover that what is the issue view. So what is the view of the Jira, then how to create issues and tasks we'll cover. We'll create the issue using the CSV importer. So we'll see that how issue we can create and how we can import in the form of a CSV file or the Excel file, you can name it. How we can add images, files, and other content to any of the issues. How to update the issues detail, like how we can edit and add more details. We'll see that how what share comment on any of the issue, how to configure the field layout in a view, how to log on time in the issue, organize the work with the components, mark down the keywords and the shortcuts keys will cover. We'll see the temporary click through the old view, and we'll see that what new issues can be created into Jira. So this is what we are going to cover here, and then we'll cover that what are things which have changed, what are the key features, the flexible layout, how we can edit on the screen, and how we can pin the most important field. So if suppose there is an important field, how we can bookmark it just like a bookmark. We'll see quickly related to the content issues. We'll see simple transition, comment from anywhere, how we can comment on that, work with the attachment, link to the comment of the log series. We'll see the new Atlassian editor, We'll see the upcoming improvements which we can have, then frequently asked question, and few of the important questions which are there in this one. And then there will be a question answer and their discussions. So this is how we are going to proceed. So this will ideally take around 3 to 3.5 hours of session on this one. So yeah, so going forward we see that first of all, what is the view or the issue view you have, right? So you have the options to two things. So first of all, you have an option to see that a video also, so you can later on go to this page and see the demo video how it looks like. But right now what you can do is that you can have a view of it, right? Now, coming back to what is changed, the issue view group key actions and information in a more logical way, making it easier for you to scan and update your issues. So, issue view, what it does, it can make things more logical, and it makes things easier to scan and update. It usually appear as a column 2 layout on the board and a single column in the backlog, but responsive to the size of the window. So you can see here, this is how the Jira boot look like. So you have something called prepare rocket for launch. So this is the user story which is there. Now you see there is first task, which is an attachment. So when you will click on this button, you get an option to attach the file. So whatever file you have, like whether you have a PDF file, an Excel file, a Word file, you can attach. So the first one is like that you need to attach the detail. Similarly, you have option to create subtasks. So you can create all the subtasks. So suppose the uh, task is to prepare rocket for launch, then subtask may be that you need to have certain elements created in order to start the launch, right? You must have a good area where the rockets can be set up for the launch. So these could be the subtask, right? So this is how the subtasks are created, and you need to focus on these subtasks as well, right? So subtask is already there, which has been improved with time. So with time, the subtask is going to improve, and it is going to be improved in such a manner that it looks better than the earlier part of the subtask which is being created. So that's how it looks like. Okay, so that is there, and then itself in the task which is been created. So that's also something which is really very important, and you need to have it in place, and that should be there whenever required. If not that, it should be taken off. Now the second one, if you talk about, is the status. So here you have the status, right? So what is the status, like whether it's going to be in progress, or is it going to be completed, or is it going to be anything else? So that needs to be there. So status means that what status of this ticket is, whether it's to do, whether it's in progress, whether it is completed, or whether it is something else. So that needs to be there, and then itself, right? So the status needs to be there into it. The third is the view option. So you can see here this is an I button route right here. So, and you have a written document which is two. So what does this means? This means that in this particular view, two people have access to view and edit this page. Okay, so this is the button which is there. Then we have a singer, which is a like button, so you can like whatever you want. Now coming back to the this side, so we'll cover firstly the right side, the priority. The priority is highest. That means we get medium, low, and high, and highest. So we have the priority given at the highest. So this is a most important, which is there. Epic link. So Epic, I have told you this is a user story. Prepare lock and launch, but the Epic was Rocket. So maybe Rocket was something which was created very way back, and inside that rocket there has been few user stories. One of them was prepare a rocket launch, second was prepare a land for the rocket launch. So all these things can be user story, but the epic or the larger user story was the rocket. So rocket launch was the user story, whereas rocket is a big task, which is a big epic which is there. Coming back to making the notes, so you can see the fourth point is the notes, which says that make sure send a QA team before issue being processed. So obviously there should be notes, and notes should be given by the development team or even for the product owner, just to make a note that team should obey whatever they have committed out here. So that is there. Coming back to, obviously we discussed in the previous slide also that who is the reporter and the project. So project is spaceship, obviously who is the reporter, so it's brand voice, so it can be anyone, or the reporter is someone who generally reports the issue. So it can be a product owner, it can be a scrum master, it can be any stakeholder, or even someone from the development team can report and create small tickets as per the need. Okay, so that's something which is there. Now, time tracking, no lockdown time, including subtask. So time tracking is mostly that how many working hours any of the team members have spent on this particular tool. So that's the time tracking. Levels, obviously there are a lot of levels which are there. Automation, so rule is there, right? Show more fields, so it's generally if you click on that, you will have more details filled out here. So that's the thing which is there. Now we see configure, so you can click here and this will be open a setting. So in setting you can do a lot of settings which you want as per the demand. So when we will be doing a hands-on experience, we'll show you this, that how it actually works. Coming back to our next segment, which is the general. So general gives you the description where you can have everything related to the details of this particular user story. So description means you will have a detail that what does the user stories means and what are the expectations from these user stories. So that will also be there. Now we have the assignee. So obviously he was the reporter and he is the assignee. Component, launch, rocket. Now we have attachment. So from here I told you we attached the attachment, and these are the attachment which are being attached. Obviously subtask we created, and these are the subtasks that ensure astronauts have everything they needed. The rocket is a simulator. So these are the subtasks which we created by clicking on this button. So attachment is there, subtask is there. Now coming back to the next one, which is the button for the comment. So you have comment, so whatever task which has been completed, in progress, or whatever status or whatever thing the team members have done, so they can state it here by marking some of the comments out here. So what they can do, they can mark some of the comments here. So any comment, so suppose what I do as a product owner, so I tell my team that whatever task you have done, whatever progress you have made, just make a comment date wise, so that even if I'm on leave for 4 or 5 days, I can just go back and see that what X team member has done, what Y team member has done. So that is there. And then itself. Now these are the things which we covered in this slide. So just a small theory or sport terminologies. So first of all, the first button was attached. So quick add button, that means add attachment and subtask linked to the issues, any URL or content from Atlassian marketplace. Second was obviously transition issue, quickly get from to do, done, and status updates. So what is the transition issue, which is the second one I told you about? The status updates are there. Now we have watch, vote, or more action. Watch the issue, vote, give feedback, and perform the action like move and clone. So that is there. We have flexible layouts. That means the fields can be displayed where they best work for you. Admin can configure almost every field to be either the left side or to the right side, depending upon the issues. Mode field, select show more fields and show some issues. Then configure issue layout. So this was the configure which I told you. I'll show you that, see what it means. So move, hide, change field in the issue view, correct? You can go to this link and understand it more better. Docket comment bar, always there is quickly to add comment no matter how far you have scrolled. So it is used for comments, and 8 9 is for attachment, and the fields table are there. So 9, if you talk about 9th, is a general fields table which you see, and 8 is obviously the attachment which is being shown here. So this is the brief description of how the things looks like. Now we have some key features of that Jira cloud. So obviously first key feature is that it has a flexible layout. So the issue can be viewed, customized to work for every team member. Almost every field can be configured on either right or left side of the view issue. Don't like where a certain field is placed? No worries, your team can control on the fields just like you are an admin to put everywhere else the issue layout. For example, if you want a sign report field to be on the left hand side of the issue B, you can ask your admin to put there and then itself. So when we'll study the Jira administration, we'll see this flexible layouts option that where what you can place. So that will be there. So you can see that Kanban issues. So that was here and it can be put here as well. So that's option you have. One screen view to edit. So obviously say goodbye to separate edit view, and you can have one view to edit the things at your end. So that's something which is there, and obviously you can initiate the thing at your end as well. So that is something which is there, and it can be initiated as you demand, correct? So that can also be there. Now put the most important field. So you can put and customize the issue by grouping the most important field on the top. Just hand over a field in the right corner and click on the icon. So what you can do, you can click on the icon and you can start using that particular field. It is saved and pinned with the field, and each field had the same upon unpin. Unpinned field are currently being rolled out and may not be used at site yet. It will be available to the user in the coming week. So this is what talking about the priority. Now quickly add relate issues. So what you can do, you can use the link issue. So you can click on the link, this Confluence page, or you can add a web link. You can create a subtask, do the attachment. So that is there. Click V to see the comment on your like app. So this is the shortcut which you can use. Then simple transition. So there is a simple transition that no more workflow button to transit issue, just the status of one place to click on the transition issue. Click the status and choose the transition or status to move to the issue. So what you can do, you can have the options to escalate, you can have to respond, cancel, and set as done. So you get the options as well. Now comment from anywhere. The new docket comment bar is always there, even with the hundreds of comment on the issue. It one click and no one scroll to start your comment. So you can comment as per the requirement, whatever task you have done or whatever efforts you have put on the tickets. Work with the attachment the way you want. So you can attach the attachment like view all your attachment in a strip or list, including those fields, comment, and work log entries. If you prefer to work from your own device, you can also download all of them at once. So you get options. So if suppose there are 10 attachments, what you can do, you get that you need to have a particular view, or you can need to download one view, or you need to download all. So when you click on download all, it will be downloaded in a zip file, and you can unzip it and see all of them at one go. So that's also there. What you can do out here is that you can link to the comment and work log entries. So need to share the comments and work log entries. So what you can do, that you can log in as per the comments which are required. So these are the few of the comments which are there. Okay. Correct. So we covered that what is the view issue. Now we'll create and see that how we can create issues and subtasks. Now coming back to our next topic is that how we can create issues and subtasks. Now what is an issue? So anything which creates a problem, or anything which creates the problem inside the page, would be known as the issue. Okay, so that is what you call as a issue in the Jira. What you can do is you can call it as a issue. Now, as a definition, if we go by, then the building blocks of any project are issues. So issues are acting as a packet of work that travel through their respective workflow with their project until it is completed. So issues are those things which travel through the respective workflow, whether it's a task, whether it's to do, whether it's in progress, it will travel unless and until it's get completed. Now, an issue can have subtasks that can be assigned and tracked individually. So issues can be further divided into small tasks, which can be tracked as per the need or as per the demand which is already there. So that is something which is already there and you can do it from your end, correct? So that's something which you can avail whatever you want at your end. Now, coming back to the next one, which is on this page, we will learn how to convert issues and subtasks. So that is something which we are going to study here. Will see that how exactly it looks like. So that will be also be there in it. I'll just go down. So these are the steps that how we can create an issue. So to create an issue anywhere in Jira, select create button. So what you can see, I have told you yesterday also when we were doing our Jira Cloud and Jira Server, we saw, I told you that there are two options to create the issue. First is either you create on the click button or the create button, and second is the plus sign which is made there. So when the plus sign or the create button you click, you will get an option to type the summary of the issue. So what you can do, you can write the summary, uh, then all completed required fields for any field you want. Optional to change which field you appear and which you created, and configure the field, and select and deselect the levels which you want to do. So what you can do, you can either select or configure it, or you can leave it blank. Second, the optional was like project, issue type, create. So these things will see when we will create the original Jira board and issues on the Jira board. So we'll see there. So as of now, it's just a theoretical part. So you can just see and you can skip. Clone to an issue. So it will be having a page which is like yeah, so having a part of it which is there, and you can have the things at your end as well. So cloning an issue is quickly to duplicate one, and it is the same as the project. The clone issue contains the most important and the same details, correct? So that is there at your end, and you can also see things whichever is required. So what you can do, you can you need to clone. So clone means that the same issue which is created, you need to replicate it. So in the case of replication, what you'll do, you'll open the same issue, you'll go to the more action and select clone. Okay, optional, you can have the options to edit. What you can do, you can edit. If applicable, you can have the subtask also. So what you can do, you can clone subtask to copy the existing subtask, clone attachment to add the existing attachment, clone links to add any existing link issues, and clone sprint values to copy out the same sprint which has been closed. So what you can do, you can do that as well. Now you can create on the button, and the clone task which you have cloned will be created. Now the thing which comes at the last is that how to create a subtask. So for creating a subtask, what you can do is that you can issue either the split issue into smaller chunk. So what you can do, a subtask can be created for an issue to either split the issue into smaller chunk or allow the various aspect of an issue to be assigned to the different people. If you find that subtask is holding up the resolution of an issue, you can convert the issue subtask to an issue to allow to work independently. If you will find an issue is really just a subtask of a bigger issue, you can also convert it into a subtask. So for converting a subtask, what step we have to take is that we need to open the issue you like to be the present issue or the parent issue. Click on the create subtask button under the issue summary, add a new summary, and select create button. So you can create then and there itself. Okay. Note that when we create a subtask, the following values are inherent from the parent task as well, the project level and the issue security level. So that will be there. Okay, so now we go to that how create issues using CSV importer. Yeah. So now creating issues using the CSV importer. The comma separated values or CSV files are the text file that represents tabulated data. So there the data are in the form of tables. Now these are the supported by most systems that are handled tabulated data, such as the spreadsheet and the database. The CSV importer allows you to import data from external system and that can export their data in the tabulated format. It also allows you to create your own CSV file and perform bulk issues for creation and update. So that is there, right? You can create, you can update the files as per your demand or your need. Okay, you can do that. Now, how to prepare your CSV file? You can base the structure of your CSV file and help you to manipulate the CSV structure format. Fields should be separated by commas and any content must be treated as literally important, such as comma, new lines, and carrier refund should be enclosed in quotes. Please note that MX Excel and the Office automatically code the value in cell and there is no codes required to be enter value manually. CSV file requirements. So these are the requirements that in order to attach the CSV file, what are the requirements? So obviously CSV file must be well formed. That means it should have the commas or the double quotes at the right position. Each CSV file must process a heading with a row and a summary column. So obviously there should be a row and a summary which should be there. The head of row is used to determine how data to map CSV file and second row and beyond in your project issues. You cannot omit commas for empty values. For example, the second splinter below omits comma for the empty description and the priority field, which isn't allowed. This is a valid example. So here is the valid example of CSV file. So either summary, assign, reporter, issue type, description, priority to test issues at the rate task. And this is not a value. So you can see the comparison between both of them. And you can see the comparison how exactly these looks like. Okay, so that's there into the field which we are talking about. Now it says that how to structure the data in your CSV file. So data that span multiple lines. So we'll see that how the data is spanned into a multiple line. So special character that needs to be treated literally. Now use of double quotes around a section of a text that treats special character is initially the section literally. Once this data is imported, the special character will be stored as a part of Jira field. Example of special characters include carrier returns, the enter characters value. So you can see here that when we try to have the double quotes marked literally, you can skip them with another double quotes and hence mark the character. So here it is that clicking the add button results in the page front found error. Once imported will all be stored in the Jira. So it will all store things in Jira and that is something which is also being considered as an example of what you do. Fine. Now we have the multiple values that needs to be aggregated into a single field. So these are not of very much use as you will not be required in the Jira as of now. So these are hard level things and high level things also. So we can generally skip that. Now coming back to our next topic, which is add files, images, and other content to a describe issue. Okay. Yeah. So once over you have created an issue, it is important to add enough details to make this over the how working and it can be resolved quickly as possible. So obviously when you have created any Jira ticket, you will make sure that you add a lot of information to it, right? A lot of attachments should be there, the images should be there, the solution design should be there, and description, detailed description as much as required, because as easy you'll make any of the user stories, probably it would be easy to work upon it and have the values out there itself. So what we can do is that we can have a description addition. So a complete description of an issue can save a lot of time in long run. Obviously if you or your teammates come to an issue but don't really understand what is all about, and it can be meaning chasing down the creators and asking a lot of questions. Good description means a sign can start straight work and get to the work done faster. So definitely, if you have a good description, probably the development team will understand things very easily, and they can have a easy understanding, and they can implement things relatively much faster than what you expect from them, right? So that is something which can be done out here. Now we have the simple description. You can see that these are the common description, that B stand for ball, italic, and then we have a code block and everything. So that's the detail which is there. Now, what is about adding an image or the file? To attach a file to any of the issues or open issues, drop a file on it, alternatively choose the click on button attach. So what you need to do is that you need to click on this attachment or attach button. So in Jira, you get this button by default, and you can do one thing is that you can attach the documents and everything to it, right? So you can do it. Now, talking about this one, that here is the video. What you can do, you can, once you attach the attachments out here, you have the option to either edit and delete it as well in the Confluence page. Now, linking those details to the Confluence page. So Confluence page can add a huge amount of context to an issue without the need of huge description or comment on the issue itself. And a Confluence become very handy build template to add to get started like this. On the easiest way to link the issues to the page is to paste the link on the issue on the Confluence page. The link is automatically created and you will get a handy page issues to it. To add the Confluence page, so what you'll do, we have created the things in Jira and we have created a link and we have attached the issues. Now we want that the page of Jira should be linked with the Confluence, right? And we need to attach both the things, right? So what for that, what we'll do, we'll have something you called is the budget, and the budgets can be created as per the demand which people or the person is making it there. Okay, so that is also something which is required out at the start. Now, when we want to add that thing, what we'll do, we'll open and choose the V button to link the issue. Select the Confluence page, quick add button. So this type of button, you'll get it there. And when you will click on that, that will add the link which is created with the issue which is created in the Confluence. Choose from the recently visited pages and paste the link. So that will be pasted. Now, how to link an issue? Okay, so we have linked images, we have done the attachment, we have linked the Confluence pages. Now we'll see that how we can link the attachment. Okay, there may be existing issues that can relate to one of the ongoing you have, and their details can help add more context when you link two issues together. So that means to say that two issues can be linked with one another whenever it is required. Okay, they appear each other on the issues and the buttons with the issue description. Linking issues does not change the issue in any way. So what you can do to link an issue, you need to open an issue and choose the link issue button. So that attachment button you need to open, okay, from your end. Once you open that attachment button, you'll get an option to attach to the relationship is blocked by or related to, for example. So we need to see that this issue is been linked or by or being chosen by or being blocked by whom. Okay, so that should be there. Search for and select the issue to be linked, choose the link. So with the description, you see this is a user stories which is created. So this is a user story, add app alert for the change of weather event. You need to click on this link issue. You have subtask, you have attachment. When you click on link issue, obviously link issue will be related to. So you'll get a lot of options with the previous issue. So maybe this is the link issue you have added. Now you need to see that out of the list of different issues, how to which it is related to. and you just need to click on that it is related to this one, and the team can start working. Similarly, here the status which you can change, the assignees, the reporters are there, and here are the comments you can have at the fingertip. To add a button, obviously link issue is required. So similarly, you can have a web URL link also. So we have studied here that how we can link image, how we can link a issue, how we can link issue and report it to other issue, how we can add image and attachment. So that was all we studied out here. Now going back to our next topic, which is update and issue detail. Okay, so update and issue detail. So what is all about? So that is something which you need to understand, that when we link a particular user story, or when we link any other user story to any other user story to one another, how we can update the issue. Now issue is something which is reported by the product owner, the scrum master, or anyone in the team. Suppose that issue is reported by any of them and it turns out to be wrong, or maybe someone says that additional information is required in order to have that issue. So in that case, how the team will proceed? The team can only proceed if they have certain amount of chances, a certain amount of details present in and around them, right? So then only they can have these details only. Otherwise the details will not be required at the time of usage, right? So that is something which needs to be there, correct? So that is something going to be there, and obviously if suppose that is not there, then things will not change for any one of us. So what you can do in order to update the basic detail, there is no trick updating issue details. Open the issue and click on the field which you like to update, but there are few shortcuts, and there also needs to press save when you edit the details, and whatever you entered is saved as soon as you click on tab of the field, unless you press escape to discharge a change. So nothing is required, you just need to click on that, you need to click on edit button, make the changes, click on save, and it will be saved with time. Now we go to our next training, which is the Jira Administration. So centrally managed accounts and security global policies across your sites. So these are a few of the Jira administration pages which has been created. So I go to this one, and if you see, you get a lot of things out here. Like you get a user, you get a group, and you go to manage account, right? You do not have any managed account, verify domain. From here you can verify the domains and you get access. So right now this is something which is of my domain. So if you are working for any of your organization, you'll have your own domain, like @microsoft.com or something like that will be there if you're working for any of the companies out here. Okay, so that will be there for the security purpose. Now we see here as on the left hand side we have things like details, we have user provision, we have G Suites, domain, API keys, application tunnel, and emails. On the top, you see the overview, directory, product, security, billing, and settings. So we'll go one by one in the Jira administration. So these are all the admins. So these are related to my trainings which I have done. So I've created a lot of admin. Let us switch to this one only. So let this be the admin. Now, this is the overview. So overview looks like that: create an organization and verify the domain so that you can easily see, manage all the users. They are subscribed to Atlassian for this one, and you need to sign up. So once I sign up, I'll get the access of the administration and I can admin and make the changes. So admin, and this is the first user in the administration part. Okay. So Jira also have. So if you are going to be an admin, you'll have a username. Maybe there can be multiple user as we have seen here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are multiple. If I click on this, things will change, and it will have the Confluence, Jira Administration, right? So plan is free for one user. You can do all the things. Open, manage setting goes to Confluence app, product access, user access, everything. So you can do it from there. Now coming back to the next one, which is directory. So in directory, what you'll have, product you will manage, right? So manage product access for all the user in your organization. So what does the directory do? The directory manage product access for all the user in our organization. If we click on this one, there will be additional information which is going to be provided here. So see, it's more that from your organization at the admin, if the user list or group list is undirectory, then view improved settings out here. So either user or a group. This page covers the site access setting that controls you how to access your site. With the user put the access to these sites, each and every one join the site and takes a license to set up with the product key and have no access. If you go over the numbers of the user in your plan, we will let you know by your email. So that is something which is there, correct? So this is how you invite. So in order to invite, you go to admin and then you go to access site, invite user, and then you can invite the user and save the changes. So that's something which is there. So this one we have already covered in our theory part. So I'll not go in deep details, but I'll just show you that how exactly this Jira administration work out here. Now coming back to the next one, which is the product. So when you go to products, you'll see that under this Jira administration or each Jira administration, what are the products which you have assigned to? If we see under this Anurag MI 922, we have Confluence, which is a free access. We have software, Jira software, which is a free access. We have Jira administration. So it has the power for Jira administration, and each of them have a different symbol. So in your papers, when you appear for any certification, maybe these logos can also come and it will say which of the following will be Jira administration. So this is the logo for Jira administration, this is for Jira, and this is for Confluence. Okay, now if you want to manage access of each, what you need to do, you will just click on this button and you can manage that. Is it a product admin or what it is? So it is a product admin. When you click on this, you can have the details view of the group as well. So if you want to add any group member, you can add that particular group member, and you can also make them as an admin out here. If you want to add any group, you can add those group members and they will become the admin for this administration. Okay, so that's what comes under the product. So you will see all the products, and from access you can manage. From here you get 5 options, like in case if you want to open the Confluence, so the Confluence related to this particular product will open. Okay, you again get an option to verify those steps. Then comes the product access. So you will click on this one and you can assign that for this Confluence page, what is the product role? Is it a user? Is it a admin? You can change it also. If it is a user, you can change those things. Okay, so that is something which you can be done easily. Now coming back to the Confluence setting, so obviously you can click and you can do the general settings on the Confluence part as well. Okay, so just like we did for Jira, you can edit these things for Confluence as well. Now after this, it comes as the Confluence app. So obviously right now we are using the web version of the Confluence and the Jira, so that will not be something which will be on priority or opening out here. We covered the manage user, the product access, Confluence setting, and Confluence. Now comes the security. But before security, I'll just show you that how exactly the left hand side of the product look like. So it's like user access settings are there, which is already been there. So any domain, one product, and when you click on this button, you can edit that what you want to do. Okay, admin approval required or not. If in case required, then when user get access, who will notify the admin? Only when the user need approval. So that is better. because every time for access, if it is reached out to the admin, that will be a cumbersome task, right? So what you can do, whenever the access is required, they can have it then and there itself, and it can be considered as approved. So this has been saved. Now we have the product URL. So whatever products you have, these are the URLs for the product. You can see out here. So this was for the Jira and this is for the Confluence. Now the release tracks. So whatever things which are released, you'll see here, and this is an environment which is sandbox. So sandbox is one of the environment, development environment. If suppose anything is developed, you can have the access out here. But right now we do not see anything because we have not created any live development out here in the Jira. Now coming back to the security part, so obviously security is more that how this page, which has the access to a lot of global thing, is being secure from the person who do not have access. So you get something like Atlassian access, you get to set up your organization, then authentication with from this tool. So in this, what happens, whenever you are working for any of the organization restrict the opening of this page, and due to restriction, they will let you know that you need to have something on the this part of the thing. So what you need to do, you need to have this one with something called the essential part out here. Now, and this one maintains the API integration. So this is more about engineering the security reasons. Now from insights, if you see, you get the organization insights. From audit log, you get all the things which are in the REST APIs. From the data residency side, you get the data which are present. So you can see that AWS region and other things. So if you see, you get the Asia Pacific, the Europe, the US, and all these things. Now the IP allow list let you know that what are the IP addresses which are required here to be sync up with these plans. If you click on the discovered product, so you will see all the products which are there. Currently we haven't created one, so that is not there. Then you have the mobile application, so you can download the mobile access to these pages, and then you can use it accordingly according to your demand. Next comes the billing. So if you see on the billing right now, you get the options in the admin part that till when the subscription is there. So it's a free plan, but here you see there is an end date, right? What you can do, you can manage the subscription just like you can manage the subscription of any of the softwares or the applications like Netflix, Hotstar, or anything, right? So it's a free tool, so there won't be any billing which is needs to be done. So you get the billing estimates, you get the billing history, billing details. You can download these as well as per the requirement. And the last one is the setting. So at the organization settings, what you can do, you can change the name of the organization. So suppose if I want to have it 90, I can have it. And as soon as I made the changes here, see this has changed, right? And this comes up because this is 20, this is 007. So if I make it 222 and just click on save, so here the Jira admin name is now changed. So this is very fast application, and as an admin you can do a lot of changes out here.
And with that, we have reached the end of this session on Jira tutorial. I hope the session was informative and helpful. Should you need any assistance, PPT, and any other resources used in this session, please let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be more than happy to help you as soon as possible. Until next time, thank you and stay tuned for more from MindMajix.